Creative ways to overcome the fear of speaking. They're basically some techniques and strategies that can increase and improve your chances of being able to present confidently and be able to make the butterflies in your stomach fly in formation. So here are 3 creative techniques that you can potentially consider. The first one would be to make use of props. When you make use of props, you are able to help the audience not just listen to what you have to say, but to also visualize what you have to say. The act of writing and leading the audience members through the thought process is also very helpful for you to bring your mind to the moment of focus. So take, for instance, you're doing a presentation sharing with us 3 tips on how to lose weight, how to get rid of stubborn belly fat. And then you have a whiteboard behind you, you have a whiteboard marker with you, and you start writing. As you write down point 1, have what we call about 20 minutes of cardiovascular exercise. As you write it down, the mind focuses on the writing of the very first point, and it tends to help the mind come back to this particular focus instead of drifting off and starting to think of, what's a potential judgment on my presentation? What could people potentially think? Will I be assessed? Will I be judged? And when you make use of visual aids and props like these, it will be very helpful for your audience to have that visual understanding of what you are saying exactly. The second tip would be to make use of breathing exercises before you go on stage to present. There are basically a couple of techniques when it comes to breathing. I personally like to use the 4x4 technique, which means the first 4 seconds you breathe in, feel the rise of your chest, and feel the lungs filled with air. The next 4 seconds is to hold, followed by another 4 seconds of breathing out, feel the body soften and relax, and another 4 seconds of holding your breath. That would be one complete cycle, and you can do for about 4 cycles, and I think that would be great. Yeah, the third one would be you can potentially consider the use of quality practice. Now, we have often heard of this phrase, right, which is practice makes perfect. But I like to believe that it's the quality practice that makes perfect. Or Tony Anthony Robbins would like to say it very well, perfect practice makes perfect. So how do you practice? And practicing, does it help? It helps absolutely to help you be more familiar with your material, to help you be more able to use the techniques, be able to be very much focused on the present, and it makes it seem as if it's something that you've done many, many times already. So how do you practice? You can practice in 2 ways. The first one would be you can practice by looking at the audience members and say your speech from start to finish. The second way is to have your presentation recorded. And then what you do is that you can play back the recording and watch it a few times. Whether it's to play back just the audio to see if you can hear, whether there are any pause fillers used and all. The next one would be you can mute and just look at the visual output and see whether or not there are any body language leakages. You can also send that particular video to your coach to get much needed advice.